All right, guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be breaking down a video from, what's the name of the company? Front Range Patrol?
Front Range Patrol.
Front Range Patrol, and this is out of Denver, Colorado. This is a very viral video of two private security guards that are interacting with a guy. Now, I've researched this a little bit. Some of the information says that the guy is an actual resident. Some of the information says that the guy is a homeless guy. So to be frankly honest, like it really doesn't matter because we're breaking down the interaction between the security guards and the involved person. Now, full transparency, this is a situation and a set of circumstances that I myself and most of the security guards that work for the company that I work for find ourselves in quite often. We get calls for service to apartment complexes where a person is potentially in the garbage room rummaging for cans. This is not something that I'm not familiar with. However, I think there's a lot that we can look at and kind of break down in terms of viewing the interaction between the security guards and the actual person himself. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll bring the video in here. Again, this is Front Range Patrol out of Denver, and we'll break down the tactics and some of the stuff that we see here. And Kyler's off camera over here too. So, all right, here we go.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, the ability.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't if I were you. I really wouldn't if I were you.
So right off the bat, let's just address the obvious. So there's some issues that we don't have a lot of context for. In this situation, the body camera that we have access to, it's showing kind of the situation in real time. So they're interacting with this person, they're pulling the chair out from underneath them. For the company that I work for, we have a lot of things at our disposal in situations like this where we can ascertain whether or not this person is a resident. We have access to the rent rolls. You can simply ask them questions like, what's your apartment number? See if they have a key fob. Ask them if they know the name of the management company or the leasing agent. A lot of things that you can do in terms of like an investigatory interaction with this person to decide if they are actually a resident. We don't know if that was done before. We don't know if this person has been unresponsive and not willing to give any answers. I do know that the vast majority of properties that utilize the services for the company that I work for, it's mandated that if the residents have interaction with private security, they have to answer our questions. If it's found out that they live there and they give us any sort of pushback or issues, that can be a lease violation. So we don't know if that was done, but in this situation, at the very least, it doesn't look as though there's any effort to try and de-escalate what's happening at the moment. So they've pulled the chair out from underneath this person, and you're gonna see him kind of getting closer into the corner, blading his stance, and these are what we call pre-threat indicators.
I really wouldn't if I were you. I really wouldn't. Bro, Daddy's right here if you really want the fucking smoke, and I'll whoop your ass like a fucking child.
So the security guard says, bro, Daddy's right here if you really want the smoke, I'll whoop your fucking ass. Does that sound like something that you would want on video, Kyler, if it's shown in court?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Guys, I've talked before about the importance of setting the table. And what I mean by setting the table is you always want to present a few things when you're interacting with people. Number one is your legal, contractual authority to be interacting with this person on that property. So private security, we operate solely in property enforcement, property rights, things of that nature. When you're interacting with this person, you have to identify yourself and identify your role on that property. Why are you talking to this person? I can be a private security guard. As a matter of fact, before I bought my house, I lived in a property not too far from here. And I would go home every single day wearing my security uniform. Now, if I see somebody rummaging through the property or rummaging through the trash on the property where I live, and I'm in my uniform from the company that I worked for before, that doesn't authorize me to perform security services there. So just because you're in a security uniform doesn't mean that the person that you're interacting with knows that you're private security for that property. You can be private security anywhere. And the fact that you're a private security guard somewhere else doesn't give you the authority to tell me what I can and can't do on the property that we're standing on right now. Does that make sense? Like, do you guys see where I'm coming from? So you need to articulate, and all of this could have been done, and I'm just not aware of it, but it's not on the video right here, right? And I think that it's important for private security guards to understand that the body cam video that gets distributed to the public might not show what you said when you first showed up. So it's important for you to continue to do that throughout the interaction. Throughout the interaction, hey, just to give you a heads up, you're still being audio and video recorded. Hey, just to give you a heads up, my name is Damien. I'm contracted to work on this property and provide security services. I would like for you to leave at the behest of the manager. The manager would like for you to move along. And you can say this at the beginning of your interaction, in the interaction, at the end of the interaction, so that you're constantly allowing this person to be informed who you are and why you're interacting with them. Short of that, he can say, hey, I don't know who this guy is. This guy just walked up to me carrying a gun. I didn't see his uniform, whatever. And definitely don't say things like, if you really want the smoke, I can whoop your ass. Like that, I think that it's very important also, and I'm going to play the video, I'm sorry. It's important for private security guards to understand that your authority to go hands-on, and oftentimes people think that private security is only observe and report. It's not. We have an Oregon revised statute here, 166.225, I believe, right? 161.225, which gives the authority to private security in the role of management or the management of that property to utilize physical force, reasonable physical force, to remove someone. You can go hands-on and remove someone if you're legally justified and it's necessary to do so. But you can go from that to assault or aggravated assault very, very quickly. That line of your authority to do that and go hands-on is extremely thin, and it has to be justified. And I don't see any articulation where they have a reason to be this aggressive with this person. So the security guard is saying step, like step up, like do something. He's trying to bait him into doing something that will give this security guard the reasonable articulation to go hands-on. Now, aside from that, we have some really poor tactics. The security guard is standing really close to this person who's now bladed. He's completely tying off his clothing. He's putting his hood over his head. He's getting everything tightened up. Why is he doing that? Kyler, why is he getting all of his clothing tightened up?
He's positioning. He's grooming himself before he gets ready to swing hands.
Grooming and positioning. We call these pre-threat indicators. Now, under normal circumstances, security guard has every right to see this and articulate this and deal with it accordingly. However, in this situation, he really hasn't done anything that I'm seeing that would give the security guard the justification to be this aggressive. In my opinion, the involved person, the black guy that's up against this trash can, he has every right to defend himself, and he's about to. The security guard's giving verbal indicators that he's willing to do something to this person. He's willing to hurt or harm this person. And what do we say about dogs and cats? Never box them in, always give them an out, give them a way out of the situation, right? In this situation, this person is not only blocked in by the security guard up against this trash can, they're in a room that is inside of a garage. So you have this person not only contained in the garbage room, you have him blocked in. There's nowhere for him to go. In his mind, what is he thinking, right? This is not de-escalation by any sense of the word. Security guard has a cigarette now. He's gonna blow a puff of smoke in this guy's face like Dirty Harry or something. I cannot understand what the IP is saying. He's kind of mumbling. but this is about to escalate.
You're not leaving, not without handcuffs and charges.
I should have been cuffed up while we smoking.
You want to get cuffed up?
I think he said something to the effect of, I'm not leaving without being handcuffed, or something to that effect. And now the security guard says, you want to be cuffed up? The secondary security guard is going to say a statement to the effect of, I can guarantee you're going to leave here in handcuffs whether you fight me or not, or something to that effect.
I can ensure you go in handcuffs whether you fight me or not. You're going to go in them if I want you to. But I've let you play your princess role instead.
I'll let you play your princess role. So in this situation, look, two things that private security guards should never do. Number one, you should never block someone in. Always give them an out. Number two, do not question a man's manhood. Both of these situations, you're putting someone in a position where, for the most part, 90% of the people that we interact with are already at their worst possible place in life. We deal with homeless people. We deal with people who are addicted to drugs, people who are on really hard times. They're already feeling, for the most part, probably extremely down on themselves. And I'm not trying to make this like a bleeding heart liberal feeling situation, but that's just the reality. And then when you box someone in and threaten them, and then on top of that, insult their manhood, you're putting them in a place where they feel, whether justified or not, to lash out, which is exactly what's going to happen.
Because you're tough. Because the meth is doing the talking. Not your fucking brain. You think I'm new here, bro? Who the fuck you getting froggy with, bitch?
Who the fuck you getting froggy with, bitch? While he steps in his face. This is assault. We haven't reached the battery yet, but the security guard is committing assault, in my opinion, at this point. You're putting this person in fear of bodily harm or bodily injury. You have a firearm on your hip. You're blowing smoke in his face. You've got your fists clenched. This is assault. This is easily articulated as assault by the security guard, not by the involved subject, who is now cowering up against this trash can.
All right, ain't your shit. You want to fucking swing me? Go ahead, swing.
Smooth, sir. Just smooth.
Now, the IP just said, excuse me, sir, just move. I'm going to play that again. I want you to hear that.
Smooth, sir. Just smooth. Smooth, sir. Just smooth.
I mean, even in this situation, he's being deferential to the security guard. He called him sir. He said, excuse me, just move. Okay, perfect. We don't want you here. Our job is to remove you from property. You're saying you're going to leave. Problem solved. We've done our job. You've complied. We're done. Back up and let him leave. Give him an exit route to go ahead and leave. But he's not going to do that.
Back one, take the play. No, you're done. Cuff him. What? Cuff him. Back one, subject's got a knife. Back one, second taser deployed, subject's fighting.
All right.
So in this situation, you see the private security guard offer a kick. I am going to assume that he is trying to kick the knife out of the subject's hand. I do not think, because it's been said that the security guard was attempting to kick the involved person in the head. There's a couple of different dynamics in watching this video. The second security guard that's over here to the left with the dark hair, he seems to be taking a lot of direction from the first security guard. The first security guard seems to be a little amped up. So I don't think that he's trying to kick him in the head, but again, this is one of the drawbacks of finding yourself in this situation. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to justify why you're doing that. So at this point, we have a taser that's been deployed. I don't know if they were actually able to get a good hit, but the subject did fall down. So in this situation, something as simple as a person potentially trespassing in a garbage room, is that a situation that leads itself to needing this type of enforcement? Did you have to pull a taser on this person? Did you have to potentially cause a traumatic brain injury by this person falling to the ground? And if this person now feels threatened and pulls a knife, and this situation is continually escalating, I don't see any circumstances where a taser, a knife, and a gun should be appearing in a situation with someone in a garbage room. This is a very unnecessary escalation of force, right?
Stop. Okay. Talk one at gunpoint. Don't fight! Put cuffs on him!
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Don't move! Put cuffs on him.
Not for nothing, putting cuffs on someone while your partner has a gun pointed at your head is probably not the best course of action, right? You could easily have gone to Sewell or Low Ready in this situation. He's maintaining that gun being placed on the subject as his partner goes in to handcuff the subject. So his partner is literally walking right into the muzzle of where his firearm is pointing. And in this situation where clearly people aren't making the best decisions, their adrenaline is pumping, they're being a little bit more aggressive than necessary, this could have very easily led to a negligent discharge, shooting your partner as well. I mean, just so many things that are wrong in this situation. And again, you can't generally claim self-defense for a situation that you put yourself in, short of any articulation as to them being contracted on that property, them having the authority to interact with this person, short of any articulation as to what that person was doing wrong and what you would like for them to do to correct that, short of any articulation of them leaving and you providing a way for them to leave free of any obstruction, you're putting this person in a situation where they have every justification to say that what he did, the individual that was found in this garage, was self-defense. You can't create a situation that you then as the officer are claiming self-defense for when you put yourself in that circumstance and you haven't articulated any reason why this person has to comply with your orders. And then on top of that, your orders have profanity, they have threats, they have intimidation. We're not mercenaries. And to be fair, we're not law enforcement. Cops can get away with some of this stuff and oftentimes do. Private security doesn't. In this situation, you're looking at a set of circumstances that could have led to the shooting of someone or potentially the stabbing of one of these officers. There's a million different ways that this could have gone. And as horrible as this is, it actually ended up in the best possible scenario based on the circumstances of what they got themselves into. No one was shot, no one was stabbed, and no one was killed. But the optics of this and the outgrowth of this is horrible. Let's look at what happened. Front Range Patrol, if you Google this situation, you're going to see multiple articles, multiple threads that speak to the fact that two white officers falsely detained a homeless black individual. Now, regardless of how you personally feel about that, from a business standpoint, that cannot be good for Front Range Patrol. Every potential client, every potential customer, every potential security guard that wants to get hired by that company, when they Google Front Range Patrol, that is the type of situation and that's going to be the type of story that pops up and populates. Now, from a business standpoint myself, I can't think that any company that I work for or have worked for would want that to be associated with the services that they provide. As a security guard, we have to always think about the optics and the outgrowth of our actions and how that's going to potentially impact the other officers that work for our company, how that's going to potentially impact us, how that's going to potentially impact the company, and how that's going to potentially impact the industry as a whole. This situation is yet another black eye on the industry of private security. People look at us as if we're untrained. People look at us as if we're renegades, as if we don't have the ability to de-escalate a situation or be professional. And this video hits on all of those things. And it further exemplifies and elevates that negative view of our industry. I can't see in this video really anything that was done correctly. If I had to say of anything that the security guards did correctly, his communication with dispatch while he's chasing after this person, while he's deploying his taser, while he's presenting his firearm, all of that was top notch. Unfortunately, you're communicating with dispatch, in my opinion, while you're committing a crime, a couple of hosts of crimes here. But that's my assessment of the situation. I would love to know what you guys think, what you think of this video, and what you think of my breakdown of this. Am I being too deferential to the involved person? Am I being too hard on the security guards? Or do you think that I'm right in my assessment of what happened? I would love to know your thoughts. So please share them in the comments below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. And more importantly, remember to be great. Okay? You guys be great. Take care.